Oh, and welcome to the most demanded show in the history of Australian football. Make Australian Football Society, Fun Society is in session. Simon is in Melbourne. Joe, how are you, mate?
I'm very good. It's MacArthur Mondays. Knicks have come to spoil the party, but I mean, a MacArthur Monday's a MacArthur Monday. How can you not be happy? As you guys can see, I'm wearing my Huawei branded Wellington Phoenix kit, circa 2011. It's very small, but I mean, when they're in this kind of mood, it's hard for me not to be as well.
How did you get your hands on a Wellington Phoenix kit so early in their history?
I honestly could not tell you. I have no idea why I own a long sleeve version of their home kit, and such an early edition. I don't know how it's in my possession, but I've held on to it ever since for today, for Alex Paulson Day.
All right, Debano, what's the strangest kit in your locker? What's the most obscure?
You know what's funny? We had our Christmas party last week, and that was actually the theme: is to pick the most obscure kit in your wardrobe. To pick, as in sort of to wear. And I don't have them on me because they're both still in the office. But I have a 2018 special Heidelberg United 50th anniversary kit, which I got as a gift. Which I love. Like, it's such a nice kit because I only wore it once. It's real collector's item. And it was that, or I've got a 2011 Wigan Athletic kit with Charles and Zogbier on the back, number 10, when they were in the Premier League. It's such a nice kit, but similar to you, Joe, it is so small on me now because I got it when I was 12. So it is quite tight. But yeah, that's the one and the two right there.
Wow. Look, the comments are flying in. Philip Rollo, our friend across the ditch, says that's peak Nathan Burns era Phoenix kit. Oh, Nathan Burns was on fire that season. Johnny Warren medalist. He was so good. He was like, all right, let's get him back in the Socceroos. And then I think afterwards, and Phil, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he went to FC Tokyo. And we were thinking, oh, yeah, he'll rip up the J-League. And then it just never really worked out for him. And then we kind of never saw him again. But, oh, man, that season, Nathan Burns was unbelievable. Debano, was there any other great kits that you saw at the Christmas party? Anything you were like, wow, that is very obscure?
Lockie Flanagan had a Cheska Sofia kit from the 90s, which was
wow. Like, how did he get his hands on that?
I think he got it at an op shop. I think he found it at like an op shop in Ballarat. I think he's going to kill me if I don't get the story right, because that just goes to show maybe I wasn't listening intently enough. But yeah, I think it was from an op shop. And another good friend of the show, a keen listener, told me he actually listens to this show while he mows his lawn, Matt Winley.
Shout out, Matt. Hope, you know what, Matt, let us know how your lawn's going and at what level, because I'm not a homeowner and I haven't had a backyard for a very, very long time, but I want to know, is your lawn pristine for playing football on? Because that's the only thing that I judge people's lawn on. Can you play football on it? Some people, it looks really nice. Oh, it keeps the dog off or whatever. No, I don't want any of that. I just want it to be, if I pass a ball along there, can we get a football game on? So, Matt, let us know how your lawn's going. But sorry, what was his jersey?
I've actually forgotten. That's really bad of me.
We're focusing on lawn mowing now. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. We had someone that we also had like a 2006 Socceroos, like one of those fan sort of t-shirts the fans had that they wore to Germany and stuff. So that was really nice. But yeah, no, there was some nice kits that got passed around.
All right, in the comments, let us know. We've had some good comments come in already on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, wherever. Just, send me a message if you got my number. Let us know, what is your most obscure kit that you have? A couple that I've got: a Sporting Gijón away jersey, I think, who's a second division team here in Spain. A couple of ones I used to have that I don't have anymore, which I really should have held on to. One was a Sydney FC from Best and Less that was reversible. I don't know if people remember this.
No.
It had the home jersey on one side, and then you flipped it, and you had the away jersey. So it was sick. So you could follow them the whole time around. It was an amazing design, except the only thing was it was essentially two T-shirts stuck together. So it was quite a heavy jersey to wear. And then the other one that I had, and I can't believe that I've let this slip. So at about 2006, my auntie came to Barcelona, and I just begged her, get me a Barcelona jersey, get me a Barcelona jersey. And my favorite player at the time, and still probably my favorite player of all time, was Ronaldinho. I was like, get me a Ronaldinho jersey, get me a Ronaldinho jersey. And she came back and she didn't get me a Ronaldinho jersey. She'd asked the guy in the store, whose number should I get? And, who should I get? And then I was pretty disappointed at the time, but she ended up getting me number 30, Lionel Messi, because the guy in the shop had said, nah, this kid is going all the way. And I don't know who that guy in the shop was. That guy can spot talent, because I had a Messi 30 jersey for ages.
Wow.
Yeah. This guy should be a scout.
I know, it's such a shame that I, you know what, knowing Barcelona, maybe they have the scouts also working in the club shop, because they're so poor, so everyone has to pull a double shift. So let us know, what is the most obscure jersey? Joe, do you have one more obscure than your Wellington one?
Yeah, I do. I reckon this is the ugliest kit I've ever seen in existence, and it's I'll wear it on next week's show. It's Juventus's, I think it was a third kit from about 2015. It's a denim lookalike kit. So the kit looks like you're wearing, you see that sometimes people wear tights that are denim look. That's what this kit looks like. It is terrible, but I have it, and I'll have to pull it out for you boys.
Athos says in the comments, I've got a Hapoel Beersheva kit. Okay, all right. We'll put that as the clubhouse leader at the moment for the comments, and we'll see if anyone else can top that. There are a lot of coming. Athos also gives us a good Nick on time. Run Them Memes says there's 6 people already here just gagging to post late. We weren't late today. We're on time, man. This is a new era of MAFFS.
It was good.
I mean, I am thinking
to finish my ice cream for about 9 o'clock. Like I was being told, man, chow that thing down.
You know what? I am thinking as well. This is a new era, but then I'm also thinking next Monday is Christmas, and then the Monday after that is New Year's Day. So I don't know. This might be the last pod for a while. Let's see how that goes. Jess says, I think Stoll is making tomato sauce again. Oh, I wish the glory days of making sure. But look, let us know what is your most obscure kit. Guys, I also wanted to ask the question. I put this out there. Is obviously it's coming up to Christmas tournament. We might not be here next week because of Christmas, but if you could have any bit of Australian football history as a Christmas present, what would it be? Joe, I'll start with you.
Look, you put this question out on Twitter, and some absolutely excellent responses came back. I couldn't believe how many notifications we were getting.
Yeah, we've got some good responses. We'll get to
them. We've got some killers, and I'll have to pull it up because someone mentioned the one that came straight to my mind, and that is the famous Jason Derulo half kit.
Yes.
It has to be. I mean, do you think that this is kind of like a trash or treasure? Do you think that this kit is worth a lot of money or worth absolutely nothing?
Debana?
Worth a lot to say someone in our fraternity. I mean, it sounds bad to say our fraternity, but like the Australian fraternity. I feel like. Wait,
are you saying this isn't getting a lot of sale in the streets of Milan with all the fashion?
Like I'm saying that this would sell for maybe $2 in Milan. Maybe in like, if this was sold at an auction, say, I don't know, like at Amy Park, I think it might go from 4 figures. There'd be someone that's like, these are grand.
So, okay, this is actually a good point. All right. We're always talking about how to raise more money in Australian football, how to increase revenue. We need to have like an obscure auction, right? So a
silent auction.
Yeah, but the half kit, maybe not silent. I think let's get people going crazy with the bits, but a
loud auction.
the little known very loud auction. Brisbane Roar, Western Sydney Wanderers half kit that Jason Derulo wore. There were some other great responses from people coming in. Someone said the tuba in the background of the famous Fox Sports when they cut to him, his tuba. I mean, that would go for a fair bit. Someone said the ball from when Robbie Slater broke kind of television history, and did the "is this over the line or not," which Gary Neville later recreated this season for the Newcastle and Arsenal game. Another person said the Mariners gun at the so this was the New Year's Eve game where it was stopped for, I don't know, was it like 2 hours or something because it was a broken net or something, and then a kid, I don't know, the kid has like a sniper rifle, obviously a fake one because you can see the little red on the end of it. Bizarre thing to bring to a football. I mean, we've all brought strange things to a football game. I don't know why he brought his quite realistic looking sniper rifle.
It's not a small sniper. How does that get past security?
I mean, how does anyone buy that for a kid? Like, isn't that a little too real? Like,
there wasn't this game as well where Daniel McBreen hot mic and there were the fireworks that were preset. So when the game restarted, the preset fireworks on New Year's Eve in Gosford just went off in like the 80th minute, and the game was like a smashing. Didn't Perth win like 6-2 or something? And like these fans want to be put out of their misery, and then there's another delay because the fireworks go off.
So you know what I like about this as well. Just looking closely at this photo, and I've never actually noticed this. The gun does appear to be pointing at the head of Corey Gamiro. And Corey Gamiro, who is the partner of a good friend of mine, Lucy Zelich, it's a hell of a threat to Corey Gamiro. And I know his time, look, he's reinvented himself as a very successful coach, and he's doing very well in Sydney as a kind of youth coach. And that's a thing to watch because he was a really talented player. But I know his time at the Mariners didn't work out. And maybe this kid was just threatening him at the time. And that was kind of what caused him to end his time with the Mariners. But I've never realized that it's pointing directly at the head of Corey Gamiro. So there you go. A bit of history today. But honestly, some great answers came in from so many people, and we really, really appreciate them. Is there anything else, Debana, that you would want in the kind of the history of Australian football as a Christmas present?
Yeah, I mean, like, this is probably recency bias speaking, and I think I'd want this just to say that I have it. And there were a couple comments actually suggested it. I watched the brilliant JFC documentary on Gold Coast United the other day that he put together. And the freedom of speech Gold Coast United jersey, I feel like there's only a few of them around. I feel like that's a real collector's item just to say that you were there. Because, like, the backstory of it is even funnier. So, like, being able to say you got it, and so I was like, what's this about? Like, is this a United Australia party? It's like, well, funny story about that. And it's, I feel like it'd be pretty cool just to have maybe one of the maybe 20 that exist in the world.
Yeah. A couple more that came in. Lee Broxham Fact says, I would have the wine bottles Frank Farina drank the night before he was caught drink driving, the morning after before Ange Postecoglou would take over Raw. A real sliding door moment for Australian football. Does Ange end up at Spurs if not for Frank Farina's enjoyment of wine? Daniel says the pee on Frank Lowy's shoe when he slipped at the 2015 Grand Final. Really well spotted, because I didn't realise that he seemed to slip on a pee, which would maybe explain what happened. That was the rogue thing. Alan Riley says the ball Tim Cahill kicked at the Seagull in 2016. That is certainly legacy. Daniel also said the Gold Coast United freedom of speech kit. Ben Smith says the broken goal from Gosford. Yeah, I mean, one I thought would have been is the broken net from when Costa Barbarouses had to get picked up and to tape up the net. Yes, that would have been a good one. So the other one is the corner flag that the ball kid held away from Tim Cahill. Oh God, there's so many of these random characters in Australian football. Do you remember the Mariners fan who was on crutches, who somehow got on the pitch?
I was just about to say that one. Yes, he got on the pitch. He somehow jumped the fence, and he's on the pitch with 2 crutches and a moon boot. I mean, imagine holding that piece of memorability.
Let's go through a quick history of what's going on at Gosford Stadium. You've had the sauce bottle that gave the Jets fan the fingers, right? Mm-hmm. You had the kid with the sniper rifle. You had the streaker who seemed to have a moon boot on, and you had the kid who took the corner flag away from Tim Cahill. Like, the history of that, and you had Usain Bolt. Like, Usain Bolt playing at that stadium is not even top 5 most funny, interesting, crazy, batshit things to happen at that stadium. I love the Mariners.
How much do you think the Usain Bolt preseason jersey would go for at the Loud auction?
I mean, only because he would be the one buying it the most.
He would buy it back.
Do you remember when he went on like some YouTube? I can't remember some video, and like they were asking him about the Mariners, and he was like, "Yeah, it wasn't really up to my standards or something." He's like, "Bro, we were all there. Like we all saw that you could not play at this level." Like he just basically is. It's the equivalent of like I've got a girlfriend in another state. And like she just said that I was too handsome for her, and that's why we broke up. Like it's unbelievable. But yeah, it's any other Christmas football memorabilia things from Australian history that you like? I would love when Australia beat England in 2003, Harry Kewell's white Predators. Oh, I love those boots so much. And it just everything, and that jersey as well. That long sleeve Socceroos Adidas jersey, those white Predators, everything about that game. I love everything about that era, everything about Harry Kewell. I love that. That would be my thing. But anything else for you guys?
Kind of wouldn't mind a Fury kit.
Yeah,
and I saw Jess's comment. Like, I would love a North Queensland Fury kit as well.
North Queensland. I think Jess might be saying that this is the kit that she owns.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That was the inspiration for it.
Yeah, North Queensland Fury Best and Less kit and Valletta FC kit. I think Adam Santarossa said that he was on the lookout for a Marconi kit in the 90s. So I have to go back and check that. But so there you go, mate. Look, we talk about the auction. Maybe we can put together like a kit swap that's going on. Maybe MAFFS. There's so many ideas that we need to bring out.
One more.
Yeah.
The other day before, and we were talking about it last week when we had Teo and Josh on the show about how there was Asian Champions League at Princess Park and stoked up all sorts of memories of the short-lived NSL clubs in the 90s. I think just from a pure enough perspective, I would love the one season wonder Collingwood Warriors kit that a Kim Montaliadorus Collingwood Warriors kit, because they lasted 1 year. Like they're one of the few clubs that like merged with an AFL team, and like to actually say I've got a Carlton Soccer Club or a Collingwood Warriors or one of those like really like short-lived teams to say you've got one of those as well, I think it'd be mad. So I reckon, again, there might be only like 20 of them around.
A Carlton Bresciano kit would be unbelievable. And then the other thing as well, and I don't know, Tabana, you spent a bit of time in NPL land. Do you ever see people with old Melbourne Knights kits with Viduka on the back? Is that a thing? Was it not? At the time, there wasn't maybe there weren't even names on the back of jerseys. I mean, even the Socceroos these days still struggle to get their names on the back of jerseys for friendlies sometimes. Personally,
never seen one. I've never actually seen one in the flesh, but I reckon they do exist somewhere. They'd have to.
Adam Santarossa says, I'm legit chasing a 1997-98 Marconi kit if anyone is selling. So there you go. If you are, I'd love to know. And this is also like, hold on to your kits. Because you never know. Like they take up space in your cupboard. It can be a pain in the ass when you move, especially when you got to explain to your girlfriend why you have a 1997 kit that you never wear. See the bottom. No, we can't throw that out. No, we can't throw that out. It can be tough, but hold on to them because you never know in the future, where it's going to come up. And they're artifacts. They're works of art. I'd go to a football old shirt museum if I could.
That's so funny. That's funny that you mentioned that, Stoll, because when I moved recently, my partner pulled out this exact top that I'm wearing, and she said, "What's this?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's a Wellington Phoenix kit from 2012." She just looked at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
She just doesn't understand what any of those words mean. Torres says, I think the only kit I ever had was the yellow and blue Chelsea away kit 71-72. I mean, geez, that is retro. Thinking back, my mum might have just bought it for me as a long sleeve yellow t-shirt and a pair of blue shorts. Didn't even realize it was a football kit.
Amazing.
That's sensational. Hey guys, we're coming off the back of what was a really good game between Macarthur on Mondays. We talked about it the last time we did a show after Macarthur. Macarthur Mondays is a thing, although it's not really a thing for them because they lost. They lost 3-0. I don't think they were playing We Are the Champions this time at the end of the game. But Joe, your boy Alex Paulson, third penalty save of the season. How good?
He's unbelievable. And I'm regretting because I had the WhatsApp chat open with us boys in it. And I said, there's a 100% chance of Alex saving this penalty. I didn't press send. And I knew I should have because, I mean, it was a terrible penalty. He couldn't have made it any easier for Paulson, but he's just got a certain presence about him that everything that goes near him in the box, he's got his hands on. And he's clearly the best keeper in the league at the moment, possibly in Australia.
So, Debano, I'll get on to, is he the best keeper in the league at the moment? But he does lead the league in penalty saves, least goals conceded, and save percentages. But the thing that really caught my eye is I look at Paulson, and you talked about this, Joe, like he has this aura, and he does for sure, but he's kind of a smaller goalkeeper. He's not your physically imposing Peter Schmeichel type player. But so I looked at many websites that had his height listed at 183. Wellington's official website has him at 193. That's a bit of a discrepancy, 10 centimeter discrepancy. I'm inclined to believe he's more 183, and Wellington have either, they want to make him seem more imposing, so they've made him 193, or they've let him put in his own details. Like they've gone around group chat and just been like, guys, just need everyone's height and weight. Let us know. And he's just gone like a good dating profile, 193, whatever. No one's going to check. This is all good. So, Debano, 2 questions. Do you think he is either 183 or 193? And do you think he's the best keeper in the league?
I think he's made a typo somewhere because 8 and 9s are the same on the keyboard. And I think that somewhere along the way, someone's made a mistake. And, obviously he hasn't edited the message and maybe he is 183. Then he sent 193. It's like, makes me look better. So I'll stick with 193. But either way, though, he's still absolutely bossing it between the sticks. But is he the best goalkeeper in the league? I mean, he's certainly the most informed goalkeeper.
Cap him? Take him to Qatar? I know he's Kiwi, but small details. Does he have that Australian DNA?
Yeah, can we get on Ancestry.com like right now and sort of, do you reckon Arnie's on Ancestry.com and like quickly sifting through, like, does he have like a great uncle or something that was Australian? I don't know. But I think in form, yes, but probably like it's tough because Lawrence Thomas and Joe Gauci are no slouches. Like it's probably that's the top 3. But yeah, certainly right now, if you told me you have to pick someone to start a one-off game, lo and behold, an all-star game, I would be picking Alex Paulson to be in between the sticks.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Joe, what do you like about this Knicks team apart from Paulson, who are leading the league now?
Well, I was just thinking maybe the 183 is his actual height and the statue is 193 because if you're going to build a statue, you want it to be a little bit taller. So I reckon that's what it might be.
So this comes off, we should just explain, this comes off.
Yes, please.
So a few weeks ago, he saved his second penalty save of the season. And the commentator over in New Zealand just broke out, build him a statue as soon as he did it. Now he saved the 3rd penalty. Here's the thing. We actually don't know what the record is for most penalty saves in a season, right? Because Andrew Howe, the stato expert, he said that, there weren't, in the early days of the A-League, there weren't people keeping stats about penalty saves. So we don't know. So I reckon we just set an arbitrary number at 5, right? And if he makes more than 5 in a season, he is now the holder of the all-time most penalty saves in a season. Now, this is on the condition of, if someone can prove that someone else has done more than 5, or if a goalkeeper, I don't know, like Clint Bolton, got a good relationship with him, if he comes out and tells me that he did 6 in one season, I'll totally believe it, and we'll set the record at whatever the record is. But right now, we're saying it's 5. So if he gets 5 or more, he's broken the record. And that's what we want to see this season. And I definitely think he should have statues, and then just increasingly, is it statues that increasingly get bigger at Wellington's home ground, or is it they get smaller, like babushka dolls?
Are we going to have like a situation where, that there's like the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and there's the Colossus of Rhodes, which is like that big statue in Greece that used to like sit the harbor, and the ships used to sail underneath it. Are we going to have like in Wellington this big Colossus of Alex? And when people walk into Wellington or travel into there, they're going to have this big Alex Paulson that's standing like this big sort of pose. Is that what we're going to get to if he gets to 10 penalty saves?
Yeah, I think what we need is we almost need like you need to walk past a giant statue of him as you go through the tunnel. Like as the opposition players come through the tunnel there's like a 350 centimeter Alex Paulson just there. And you're like, oh my God, these guys are massive. Just like taking up a full goal. Like he's just the biggest keeper we've ever seen. That's something that needs to happen. But I will say I'm very excited about Wellington this season, mainly because I believe that Giancarlo Italiano is the first A-League coach to be leading the league, and have also DM'd me on Twitter after an appearance I did on FNR, where, so this is in the days where, do you remember when Wellington was playing their games in Wollongong, and there was like, we were trying to work out if there was a trans-Tasman bubble and if they were going back and da-da-da. So I think I said that they were going to, I was trying to work out what was going to happen. Are they going to be able to go back and forth? And then he sent me a DM saying, no, we're just we're based in Sydney or Wollongong for the next 4 months or something. And then I said, oh, well, thanks for, even harder for you guys. Well, good luck with it all. And he goes, yeah, thanks for promoting the game. Keep it up. And I was like, wow. So
wow.
Huge. So now I'm totally on the Wellington train. I know I've said they'd finish 9th, and I'm sure I'll find some statistical category in which they do finish 9th. But on where it matters, on the table first, baby, let's go Wellington. I'm so in on it. Alex Paulson to break the record for most penalty saves in a season, and Giancarlo Italiano to I'll hit him up in the DMs again and just be like, hey mate, I feel like our chat really inspired you onto greater things. Congratulations on winning the title.
I think if you've got that rapport now, you definitely have to speak to him. So when did you last speak to him? When was the last message?
Oh, literally, that's the only message we've ever had. So early COVID. but I just remembered. I mean, to be fair to him, he was like, assistant coach at Wellington at the time. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, cool. Like, just all right, great. Like nice guy, seems cool. But I'd never thought, like one day this guy's going to be, top of the A-League, all the big teams in Europe will be after him. I mean, we haven't got there yet, but let's see. It's happening for Ange. It can happen for Giancarlo as well.
Well, that's the thing. The way they're playing, I wouldn't be surprised. You saw how attacking, if anyone watched the game tonight, Wellington were attacking straight through the middle for almost the entirety of the first half. It was really exciting to watch. They were turning at every opportunity. And their first goal kind of came from the only time they kind of attacked out wide. And I mean, Barbarouses has found form now, but the way they're playing at the moment, where they want to take the ball on, they want to win games, they want to drive forward, it's really, really attractive. So, I mean, maybe he will be a man in demand come the end of the season after he's lifted the title.
Yeah, absolutely. Debana, I've got a question about Wellington. So first goal was set up by Ben Old, right? Now, Ben Old is 21 years old. Okay. Now, does he have the worst name in football for a precocious young footballer? Because honestly, when you see Ben Old on the team sheet, don't you just picture like some 33-year-old who played for Blackburn Rovers for 3 seasons and, that kind of like journeyman English footballer. And then you saw him just absolutely blitz it on the first goal with the assist. Really well played. But I just feel like his name is holding him back. Counter to that, Jamie Young's name is helping him prolong his career.
So what you're saying is we have a Benjamin Button situation here.
Yeah,
we have a bit of an opposite situation going on, and that they should maybe engage in a trade.
Oh, trade names. Oh, I love that.
Like we go Ben Young and Jamie Old. Like when Jamie Young retires, I don't know. Like when Jamie Young goes, that's it. I've had enough. We're gonna let's negotiate a swap deal.
Can you imagine, there's a scout somewhere in the championship or something. Let's say Ipswich Town, where Luongo's at, and they're having a scout meeting, and they go, yep, we've got this guy, midfielder, looks really good, Wellington Phoenix, name is Ben Old. And you say, Ben Old? We don't want old players, we want young players. And then they'll be like, no, he's only 21. I go, the vibe's just already, I'm thinking old. Already, just subconsciously, everyone's thinking old. Ben Old, I think you need to change your name. Jamie Young, you are coasting by on your name continuously because people think you're younger than you are.
Well, that's kind of like the good thing about. Do you remember that Perth Glory player? I think he only played like a handful of games. His name was Tyler Vecchio. I think I don't know if you don't remember him. Fair enough. He only played like 4 or 5 games in the one of their COVID seasons. And Vecchio in Italian is old, so he's also Tyler Old. So,
wow. In Spanish, viejo. So maybe that's where that comes from.
Tyler Vecchio sounds like a really cool name. Tyler Vecchio, let's get this guy in. He's also, played down here in NPL for a bit last season as well. But poor guy, if it was Tyler Old, same sort of thing. Immediately you're thinking, oh boy, who is this guy?
Maybe he needs to go to a country where English isn't their first language, and then he'll overcome this discrimination. Run Them Memes makes the point that Ben Old should swap names with Angus Thurgate. And I guess he's pointing out the fact that Angus Thurgate is like 23 and somehow looks about 32. So tough times for Angus, but great player. Love to see him go. Joe, is there anyone else who should be swapping names?
It's a great question, Nick. Not that I can think of at the moment, but I love the ambition. I think it could catch on.
Yeah, all right. What's your space?
Go middle names.
Go on.
Because I found out an interesting fact the other night. Now, have you guys heard how Callum Talbot's nickname is Squid?
No, didn't even know his
name. Now,
was
I'm going to ask you guys this before I reveal the answer. Why do you guys think Callum Talbot's nickname is Squid?
Squid Game.
Squid.
Fried squid.
Long limbs.
Nope.
Secretes ink, maybe.
Long something else.
Hang
on.
You give up?
Yes. Go.
His middle name is Murray. Callum Murray. Like the old ad that used to be on TV. Yeah. So he's taken it upon himself to call himself Squid. And it's actually his Instagram bio. So his parents called him Callum Murray. Probably not really thinking about when you put it together, it's calamari. And, like there was a whole ad. I forgot, was it ING? I think. I don't even know. What's that fish fingers company that did it? But, like they had like a whole calamari ad and it was like a kid that gets bullied all the way through till they get married. Are we going to have, do you think Callum Talbot can swap middle names?
I think that's a good one. So I think also it reminds me of I think there was this player for Crystal Palace, a defender, Fitz Hall was his name, and you know what his nickname was? One size fits all. One size fits all.
Amazing.
It's a classic. It's a classic. Hey, guys, what made Australia... It's taken half an hour, but we've gotten to the crux of this show. What made Australian football fun for you this week, Joe?
I think it was the Aloisi derby for me. The game itself was very exciting between Western United and Brisbane Roar, but the red card to John Aloisi, I mean... It was just a good time, and not only because we love to see a little bit of drama, but I loved that when he was stands, when he got sent off, we had a little bit of picture-in-picture action. So we were seeing the game, and then we were seeing John kind of shaking his head, what have I done, looking around a little bit. But they cut away from it just as a goal. I actually can't remember now who scored the goal that was ruled offside. Michael Hughes, maybe. But they cut away at the exact roost. That's right. And yeah, as soon as the ball went in and then got disallowed, imagine seeing Aloisi's reaction to that while sitting in the stand. So I'm calling for more picture-in-picture action of anyone who's losing it on the bench or in the stands.
Can I just say I love the fact that John Aloisi won the Aloisi derby because he's under pressure, and I'm a big fan of John Aloisi. And another person who I worked with in the past and really like him, and he's obviously an A-League champion as well. So want to see him turn around. But the thing that I thought just showed me that John Aloisi is one of the football goats in Australian football is he smashed the advertising hoarding with his right foot. Now,
He's still got it, doesn't he?
If you cast your mind back to the famous penalty, he took that penalty against Uruguay with his left foot. So this guy is, we've all been angry, right? But I've never out of anger used my weaker foot or used my weaker hand. Aloisi has so much two-footedness that he can, with anger, smack. And what a hit it was, by the way, with the right foot. Unbelievable. Debano, what a legend John Aloisi is.
Yeah, and he said it afterwards. He's like, imagine if I kicked it with my left, it would have ended up in the stands or something. He's not wrong.
Would have added up at tennis.
Yeah, the way he was kicking it actually would have been going into the Yarra, because that's facing the Yarra end of Amy Park. So someone that's like rowing at 7:30 at night in the Yarra would have been collected by a big advertising hoarding. But the one thing I loved that came out of it was the really great Getty Images shot of John and Ross shaking hands after the game. And just by happenstance, because it was in the tunnel at Amy Park, it created this like really orangey Western kind of filter.
Yeah.
And
Mexico narcos look.
Yeah, obviously, our socials is in the A-League socials. We put together like a quote graphic of John saying, I don't think I'm going to get invited to Christmas lunch or something like that. And it was just the perfect quote meets photo, like with the orange landscape, perfect sort of like Ross just looking like, just shaking hands because he has to. Like they're brothers and everything, they're all good, but it was just great. It's just such a great photo.
Yeah, and you know what? It did look very like Narcos, like once they were brothers, now they're enemies. Tune in this summer for the Aloisis or something. So no, it was incredible. Debano, what made Australian football fun for you this week?
Zinedine Makash again. I think Sydney FC want to see the end of this guy, man. Like, I think they don't want to. They never want to. Well, they play him again next month. But I mean, every time he plays Sydney FC, that guy just sees like stars in his eyes every time. Like he was unbelievable on Saturday. Being able to watch him in the flesh as well, like seeing what he can do. Not just like we spoke about, like the brute force in that first game, but this time was like just the overall skill. Like he's so good. Beautiful assist, a really nice goal as well. And I think honestly, like if we're looking at top signings of the season, he's making pretty damn good case to be right up there at the end of the year if he keeps this going.
So I think he's been amazing. And the way he set up Bruno Fornaroli's goal with that little delay and shimmy and then the kind of croqueta where he just bounced it and then bounced over to Fornaroli was unbelievable. And as soon as he did that, I'm with you. I thought, okay, what can we do with Zinedine? All right. Here's what I'm thinking. He hasn't been in the country very long, but I think we can sneak him on the plane to Qatar and this is what we're going to do. You guys have played like local football, right? All you have to do is register the names. So we can put any 23 names, right? And then all you have to do is tell Zinedine, all right, Zinedine, you're Riley McGree or something. You're Tom Rogic. Just say you're Tom Rogic. If anyone asks you, Tom, on the field, if the referee asks your name, Tom, like this is what we have to do, all right? Look, we've all done it. Every local football team has got to ring in last minute. If they make you hold up an ID card, now come on, Albo. If Albo wants to help Australian football, and he says he does, all right, we need infrastructure. Yes. We need support at grassroots level. Absolutely. Let's make a couple of fake IDs. All right. Come on. You've got a few passports. You go to the passport office. All right. Just slip Zinedine a quick fake Aussie one. I'm not saying he's got to have a full permanent residency or anything, just for one tournament in Qatar. What, you think the Qataris don't do it? Remember all the Brazilians and the Spanish players that used to turn up in their national team? All right, if Marcos Senna can play for Spain back in the day and win the Euros, Zinedine Machach can play for Australia and we can win in Qatar. Guys, are you with me or not?
What would his Aussie's name be? Dean Mark, I reckon.
Dean Martin, a crooner. But I like it. You're Dean. If anyone asks, I am Dean. I am Dean. Nice to meet you.
The best part is about him. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have watched his interviews yet, but like, he's so like well-spoken. He's so, nice and, careful and, really innocent and everything, which is a complete opposite to like when you read some of the articles and he sounds like Moroccan bad boy. And then you see him and he's like this really nice, like gentle giant who a few weeks ago almost started crying when there was an offside. Like when his teammates started yelling at him, he's like, looking all sad. I mean, all I'm going to say is if border security come, asking questions, you better be prepared to, give a statement for where this all started from.
It's my mate Dean. It's all good. Hey,
bloody Dino.
Well, Dino, mate. No, Dino, legend. I mean, look, we already said he was the John Aloisi of Australian football when he kind of shoulder barged his way in round one. Yes. Maybe he can help the Wallabies out as well. It can be a dual sport thing. We can make it happen. We'd love to get the comments in. Tell us what made Australian football fun for you this week. Simon Spez, speaking of picture in picture, I love that Perth Glory scored as the opposition was being interviewed.
Yes,
this is an amazing innovation in Australian football. This is all I want to see. Interview the coach until they get scored on. Expect any changes at halftime not to start with. Perth score immediately. So, yeah, I mean, that is very good from Simon. Edmund says Josh Nisbet, who play was typically exciting and frustrating in equal measure. Look, we're going to get on to someone who is typically frustrating and exciting in a minute. But just quickly, I want to say my Australian football, what made fun for me this week was, I don't know if you saw Sammy Silvera scored for Middlesbrough, but that wasn't just the best part about it. And Sammy Silvera is kind of picking up form at the right time. He's doing all right at Middlesbrough. It's one to keep an eye on. Hopefully he gets a bit of game time there and he can really kick on. but he scored an indirect free kick. And I love an indirect free kick in the box. And basically what happened was, I can't remember who they're playing, but passed back to the keeper. Keeper picked it up, indirect free kick. And then there was the typical thing where every single player from the opposition was on the goal line plus the goalkeeper. And then he still managed to sneak it in under their legs to score. But everyone keeps complaining that penalties are given too easily now, that handballs are hard to work out. And, all these kind of, is there contact? Is there enough contact to go down? Let's solve this problem. Indirect free kicks in the box. Who doesn't love it? We talked the other week about goalkeepers coming up the field and how exciting that is. Indirect free kicks in the box, exact same thing. We need more of it, and I think that would revolutionize world football, never mind Australian football. What do you guys think? Indirect free kicks, yes or no?
Yeah, I'm with it. So what constitutes an indirect free kick? I think it's only a pass back to the keeper when he's not in the small box. Is there anything else that constitutes it? Is that it?
There's some other weird ones, but I can't remember. They're like obscure things that very rarely happen. I think, for example, I think you saw in the Europa League this week, a player, he took a free kick, he cannoned off the crossbar, came straight back to him, and he passed it to someone, and then basically they went on to score. But because you can't touch the ball twice, and that counts as touching it twice, even though he didn't really mean to. He just smashed off the crossbar and came straight back to him. There's a free kick for that. It's things like that I think are indirect things. Debano, have you done a bit of research?
I think we've got a few here. An indirect free kick is awarded to the opponent if a goalkeeper commits any of the following offences inside his own penalty area, takes more than 4 steps while controlling the ball with his hands before releasing it from his possession. I didn't realise that's a thing.
Not very well enforced.
Touches the ball again with his hands after it had been released from his possession without touching another player.
Oh, yes.
Goalkeeper puts it on the ground and just picks it back up.
You know what? Here's what I reckon. I reckon deliberate handball in the box, penalty. Not really deliberate handball, but still a handball that influenced play. And, had the hand not been there, the other team, could have had a goal scoring opportunity or something, or could have scored a goal. Indirect free kick. That's what I'm talking about, or foul, but wasn't really enough to go down, but was enough to put the person off the shot and was kind of illegal contact. Indirect free kick. This is what I'm talking about. Let's increase the amount of indirect free kicks in the game. I think it could happen.
So those grey area penalties where it's natural body position, but no one knows how it works, and it's those ones that everyone's going to complain about. It's what can we do to make it up? Let's just call it an indirect free kick.
The other one I think is, when someone gets the ball, but then they kind of go through and collect the player as well. It's they've got the ball, but they've actually smashed the player as well. And it's a bit dangerous and da, da, da. And you think, it shouldn't be a penalty, but it should be an indirect free kick. I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Simon Vin says, I'm with you with vague handballs, indirect. Yeah, I think it would just be so much more fun. Look, we talked a little bit about Zadine Manchash, but I wanted to talk as well about Sydney FC. We talked about the Big Blue that lost 3-0. There was moments where I thought, Sydney FC doing well here. But the question is, can physicists at MIT explain Sydney FC's, I've misspelt strange, I've added an R in there for some reason, strange new manager bounce. So the new manager came in, Ufi Tale, and they won, 5-1 against Adelaide, and it was the most extreme new manager bounce we've ever seen. And then since then, apart from, I think, a win against Perth at home, they've struggled. And this is a very weird bounce. It's kind of gone up, down, up again, down, down again. It's not really trending in the right direction, would you say, Joe?
It's not really. I mean, there's been one bounce. It was a bounce with the 5-0, and then since that bounce,
it's more a skid. It's more a skid than you managed to skid.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's like one of those balls you have in the ocean where you skim it. The first one's really good, and then it kind of gets lost at sea. I think that's where Sydney are at the moment, because since that first game, it has not been pretty, unfortunately. What do you think, Tavano?
Is it more hacky sack Tabano? Is that kind of bounce? Or is it like a futsal ball? It's a bit heavier?
It's 100% a futsal ball because the first bounce is always okay. You might be able for bouncers to get a decent volley or whatever, but if it's on the second, forget about it. You got to try control it.
Or is it an AFL ball bounce? You can
that goes anywhere. That goes anywhere.
But that's what I mean. That's Sydney FC right now. It's just it's soccering off the ground or whatever they call it.
It is actually not, no, good analogy. It actually is like it's a Sharon. It bounces whatever way it wants to. Like, you know, it could go one way, then go back the other. It could go up, you know, it could just skid along the ground. Because funnily enough, like they could have probably scored like 3 or 4 goals that game.
100%. 100%. It wasn't a 3-0. It wasn't a 3-0.
No way. Paul Izzo was great. Like, and they had the disallowed goal and everything like that. So I don't know. They've had 3 losses, but like against MacArthur as well, they went down to 10 and they had a bunch of chances they couldn't convert. Western Sydney, they actually have more chances than the Wanderers. But I still think either way, like they got a lot of issues they got to sort out, especially defensively. But yeah, I think if we're going to talk about a bounce, I think it is 100% a Sharon right now. And who knows what it's going to be against Western United this weekend, guys, because knowing a Sharon, this could bounce back into their hands and they could kick a goal and win this game. Maybe looking at their track record, this could be a 6-0 win, or it could be a complete surprise. They could lose 6-0. So who knows with this bounce at the moment.
I love what Edmund is saying in the comments. No Max Burgess, no bounce. And I agree. I think like Sydney FC just lacking his kind of creativity, his calmness on the ball. They just needed that little bit more control of the game. And one thing I kind of look at Sydney FC is they've kind of been in a rebuilding and a transition season now for 3 seasons. They had the transition season before they had the new stadium where they're, we're having a rough season and next season we'll be at the new stadium. So we'll be all right. And we've got Bimby. And then they had the kind of the new season with Bimby at the helm and just kind of, they were like half transitioning, but they didn't really fully commit to a transition. And then this season, they kind of started with Bimby and then they've transitioned coach and got Uffy in. And it just feels like now Uffy's trying to get the high press going, get more of that happening. And it's just like, eventually, like you've just got to decide whether you're committing to a transition year or not, like they do in the NBA. If we're going to tank, let's just tank this. Let's do a Detroit Pistons and win 2 games out of 50 or whatever they're on at the moment. Like Sydney FC have just half committed to these transitions and it just, they haven't worked out, and that's kind of where they are right now. Tabana.
Does Sydney have a you know how Detroit have the Wings partnership with Wingstop, and there's all the memes about like how and they win, the fans get wings. Like, what's the A-League equivalent of? Do we have a
I'm sure the Mariners had a deal either with Macca's or Hungry Jack's that there was a burger. If they won a game, you could take your ticket in and get it redeemed, which I always love that stuff. Like I think the NBL had a thing with Hungry Jacks where if the opposition missed 2 free throws in the 4th quarter, you got a free burger. We need stuff like that. I mean, Wellington, if Alex Paulson saves a penalty, everyone's getting, free burgers or something. I mean, maybe the burger joint could not afford to give away that many burgers, but we need stuff like that. That stuff.
Imagine how loud it would get. Like, imagine how loud it would get inside a stadium. Like, say, the word got around, if we go and they we keep a clean sheet, we get like free fries or something like that. Imagine how loud it would get in the 90th minute. Your team's up 4-0. It's a 93rd minute, and you're like, everyone's getting excited. Everyone's excited about to win. There's that extra excitement of we've just won chips or just won a burger or something.
We've just won chips.
Victory should have, if Bruno Fornaroli scores, free popcorn chicken at KFC, right? And all that, because KFC might be freaking out, come on, we can't give away that much popcorn chicken. First of all, you can. It's popcorn chicken.
Yes,
let's be honest, all right? It's just, I don't know what you're putting in there, but it's basically just fried nothing, right? Then second, what you do is you say all right, you've got to have a ticket from the game. And also, you can only redeem it within 48 hours or something of the game, right? So you can't hold on to it for a week. You can't, take out your whole family for a massive meal of popcorn chicken or something because he scored so many goals. Something like that. I want every single team in the A-League to have a fast food partnership, and people will love it. This will take the A-League by storm. It'll be fast food, fast football. Like these taglines can work. So many great ideas. But look, any final thoughts, guys, on the Big Blue, on Victory and Sydney FC? Or are we happy to move on to Melbourne City Mariners?
Just a quick one. I loved what Fornaroli did with the quick free kick to spread it out wide to Arzani. And if we're talking about Socceroos, you can see the relationship between those two. Arzani's movement, he knew that Fornaroli was going to turn on the ball. That's the kind of connection that you want to see. That was pretty special. Not only is he scoring goals, but he's got the vision like that too to create for others. he's a man in form.
100%. He's got to be. He's in my Asian Cup squad, and I am buying all the Arzani stock. Simon Vin says Western United did a free burger at Macca's once if they won. I'm a Perth Glory fan and had just witnessed us lose 6-0 in Launceston. At least I got a free burger for brekkie the next morning. Look, listen to Simon, people. This guy went all the way to Launceston from Perth, witnessed his team get battered 6-0, and does he have a positive memory? Yes, because he got the free burger. This is the greatest partnership ever. We got to
should it go the other way? If you go support your team and they lose 6-0, are you cooking up the burgers?
Yeah. You know what? I do like that because there's always in the UK when they have like a really bad loss every now and again, like the team will subsidize the tickets or the travel or something.
Forget about that.
Yeah, that's not as nice. There's nothing like chomping into a free burger or chips or whatever. By the way, this is another thing that I got to raise. So Australia is not known for, like our amazing food. And I think we're a bit underrated when it comes to food, at least worldwide. Let me tell you, I've been traveling around Europe. I've been tasting many delicious foods. But let me tell you where we are elite in. Hot chips. Australia is absolutely elite in hot chips. Now, I want people, tell me around the world where you can find better hot chips in Australia. And I mean, just like generally, like I'm not saying like, I went to this one place in like, I don't know, Shanghai or something. And that's why Kevin Muscat's gone there because the chips are so good. No, I want whether generally your average hot chip, because let me tell you, in Spain, they suck. They don't know how to do hot chips. That's just a fact, right? Italy, Debano, the food is amazing in Italy, but hot chips is not really their thing, is it?
They don't need chips there.
Yeah, exactly. Joe, in all your travels, all the places you've been, hot chips, where have they been the best?
Hot chips. Maybe Craigieburn?
Yeah, see? That's what I mean. I've been to America. You think like, the fries, the French fries. They don't do good hot chips like we do. Like we are elite at hot chips. And everyone loves the hot chips. So, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Hey,
I'm glad you did.
One thing, the MAFFS game of the round, the most fun game of the round was Melbourne City 3, Mariners 3. Debano, I believe you were at the stadium. Give us your summation.
Angel Torres is so much fun, guys. Like, I love just saying that because of the name of the podcast, but oh my God, like he just decided at halftime, like, stuff this. I'm gonna do it myself. Like, it's almost like he took, because there were, there've been some takes around on social media saying, this guy's a bust, like he had some tough games early, had that red card against Perth, was only scoring in the AFC Cup, but far out, like he was so good in the second half. And the one thing that I think you guys spoke about at the start of the season is like, this guy is the most irrationally confident player that probably has ever stepped foot in our competition and ever will. He shot his shot at the start of the season and said, I'm going to score 15 to 20 goals this season. Now, he is a third of the way to at least reaching the minimum. He's got 5 goals in all competitions now. We're going to give him benefit of the doubt. It wasn't just, the A-League season. We're talking the season, the AFC Cup. Like he can stats pad in the AFC Cup if he wants. I'm telling you guys, he's on track. If he can continue this, if he could put together 90 minutes, imagine what he could do. Because like that second half, he was unbelievable. Him and Marco Tullio and Nisbet, like that front three was great. Like, all honesty, it was an awesome game. Second half was such a fun game. It was good weather, good football. Like both teams were so spent because they just played in Asia as well. So the second half just became transition on transition. And you know what? When it just becomes that, it's a lot of fun if you're just sitting there watching it.
You know what, Joe? Angel Torres is kind of like Arzani on steroids in terms of extremely confident in his own ability, extremely exciting to watch, frustrates a lot of people. Like I've seen a lot of Mariners fans on Twitter say, like, just like, I don't know exactly what they've seen that's kind of concerned them so much, but it just pops up on my feed every now and again. Angel Torres is the worst player the A-League has ever signed. Now, let me tell you, my friend, I've been watching this competition nearly 20 years. He is not the worst player we've ever signed. Pia Vakari at Wanderers was the worst player we've ever signed. And trust me, there's a long, long list of players that we can go through before we even get close to Angel Torres. But Angel Torres, the angel from Colombia, he's definitely going to be in the MAFFS team of the season. He might not be in the A-League team of the season, but he's going to be in the MAFFS team of the season. And it's exactly what you said, Debano. But Joe, what excited you about this game?
Well, you say that he's Arzani on steroids. I said a few weeks ago that I think Arzani's been looking pretty jacked himself. So I think Arzani is actually Arzani on steroids. But the third goal that he scored,
for legal reasons, we'll just say that it's a joke.
No.
And that he's not
Absolutely not. No, he's been hitting the gym and he looks great. But Torres' third goal where he faked the shot. He sat about three defenders down. That is the kind of goal you watch that anywhere in world football, and everyone makes the noise watching that because it was wonderful to watch, and like that's the peak of his quality. That is at his absolute best. That's what he can do, and it's game winning or game tying in this situation.
Speaking of like composure in the box, Debana, how about Tolga Arslan's composure with that touch and finish? He's such a good player as well. He's another one who I think is going to be a good shout for MAFFS team of the season.
In the squad, at least.
Yeah.
I think like if we're going to start putting a team together, I think we can save a spot in number 10 for Tolga Arslan, a spot in the wing for Angel Torres. Like I think we can lock him in. He's great. He's great. I mean, the other night, like after the Champions League, he scored. He had a great game, and he was like, I didn't play that good. I actually thought I played pretty crap, but they gave him man of the match in the AFC. The AFC judges were like, this guy's man of the match, and he's still like his own harshest critic. But the crazy thing is, guys, like he's injured. He's been playing with an injury all year, and he's doing this.
Wow. What injury does he have?
He's had this toe injury for a while, and like he's better now than he was like 3 or 4 weeks ago when he was only playing like 50, 55 minutes. But it's easy to forget, like City have already played, I think, 17 games this year because of Australia Cup, Champions League and the league. Like they're cooked. Like they're playing so many games, done so much travel. And I think like, honestly, as this season goes on, he's going to get even better. Like I think he's a very fair shout to win the Johnny Warren. He's just a joy. He's an absolute joy to watch. Like it's something that we don't always see with the foreigners. Like sometimes the foreigners are very hit and miss, but this
Pierre Vicari, miss of all time.
Yes. It's one of those ones like it's the players played in the high league, but you're unsure because it's not like an El Piero level signing. They just turn to be an absolute star.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's an exciting time, and it's interesting to watch those three teams that are in Asia. So you've got obviously the Mariners, MacArthur, and City, and just seeing how they, now City's no longer in Asia. How does that give them more time off? Do we see improvement in their play? Because they have been a bit hot and cold this season, and it'd be interesting to see like Angel Torres as well, because he'd played a lot of football as well when you add up all those games. So is going to be interesting to see. Hey, speaking of interesting, Joe, Ange turning the tide with Spurs, 2 wins in a row. A few weeks ago, Teo sat here on this thing and he ran through the fixtures. When is Ange going to get his next win? And we weren't sure exactly. There was a good result against City, but these 2 wins in a row, you're feeling good. I feel like he's doing what he needs to stay in the title race, and that's going to keep him in good stead towards the end of the season.
Well, there's a reason Teo's not here today. It's because we don't like that kind of attitude towards Ange. And look where it gets you. No, just kidding, Teo. We'll see you next week on our Christmas edition. But Ange, the thing is with Ange, obviously they had that great, mixed bag of results. A good result against City when they got the draw. But I think I've said every week here, the performances, despite the squad being depleted with injuries and suspensions, has still been the Ange way. He's still gone for the win. And it's the kind of performance where if you lose or draw the game, you don't mind too much because you can see where it's going, and you can see, if Tottenham had James Maddison or Van der Ven or Basuma, who's suspended again, more Reds than Nick Stoll on a Saturday night in Barcelona. He's out for 4 games now, and this is what Ange has had to deal with, a key cog in his midfield. But he just keeps getting it done. Now they're playing Everton this weekend on a beautiful Christmas Eve fixture for us here. Everton in form side, and that's going to be tricky because obviously a Sean Dyche team, very stubborn. They know how to defend really, really well. And in the first half of the Tottenham game against Spurs, they kind of were a little bit stuck until the Richarlison goal. But I think Everton are going to be they're going to be a tricky fight. I think Spurs are going to want to score early in this one.
You know what? I think the next 3 games for Spurs kind of will sum up their season, because you're right. They play Everton, who are in form. They're a really tricky team to deal with. They play Brighton, who under De Zerbi sometimes look like the best team in the Premier League. And then, sometimes with the Europa League, with everything, struggle in certain periods of games and kind of can be beaten. And then finally, they play Bournemouth as well, who are kind of like the informed team in the competition. And I guess if Ange is getting a lot of plays, then ERO Rollo is getting a lot of praise as well. So, Debano, just how do you see him kind of negotiating those kind of next 3 games?
Tell his players, Tommy Shelby, like, don't get suspended. Like, just like, you know, like goes to the ball, like, you know, the no fighting scene, like, you know, no red cards, no red cards, no red cards. You know, tells him, you know,
what about
like,
the classic enjoy it, but enjoy it by being fucking disciplined?
Like, honestly, like if they could just mitigate these disciplinary issues, like I know they've got all these injuries, but just to mitigate it somewhat. I think they'll actually do quite well during this period. I mean, the other thing as well is the FA Cup campaign starts against Burnley. So like that's a tournament that I think, you know, Spurs would love to win something. And I think the FA Cup is certainly one that they should, at least from my point of view, go for. But I want to ask you, Joe, as a Tottenham fan, did you see Gary Neville's massive U-turn? I haven't seen a U-turn like that in such a long time, going from this guy's copying Guardiola, he's naive, to him now saying, oh, when Pep goes in 2025, I know who can replace him.
You can't get away with that these days. There's too many receipts on Twitter, online. We all know what you said, Gary, and it's too late. You're off the bandwagon, and it's too late to jump on.
No, I like it. You know what?
You're a fan.
Yeah, because you know what, man, I remember saying at the time, like every single time Ange is basically taking a job, I've said, oof, that could be a bit of a step up for him, right? So when Ange, you know, was doing well with Brisbane and then went to Victory, and then it was, okay, he's going to take on Socceroos. Oh, geez, Socceroos, big step up. And then, you know, did relatively well with Socceroos, or didn't finish particularly great. So, he's going to Japan. You go, oh, geez, J-League, the language barrier, that's going to be a bit tough. Okay, well, you know, all right, we'll see how he goes. And then he won it, and you go, okay. And then he goes to Celtic. You go, geez, I mean, Celtic, that's pressure straight away. You need to win pretty much everything except, you know, Champions League. And, you know, he's taken over. They were kind of struggling, and Rangers got 100 points on the Steven Gerrard. And then he takes over Tottenham, and you think, oh, geez, you know, Premier League, that's another step up. They've just lost Harry Kane. This is going to be... So I myself have doubted Ange at every single turn. And you know, for him to prove wrong. So Gary Neville's just getting there quicker than most of us. But we got to look out for Ange. But here's what I wanted to finish on. So I put it out and give us, you know, hot takes, Asian Cup. I don't know if you guys have any real hot takes for the Asian Cup squad that's going. But, you know, I had that one earlier about, you know, you just put a list of names, doesn't really matter, and then you sneak in, you know, Marco Tullio and Tolgay Aslan and Zinedine Machac and all these other
Torres at the Asian Cup. Like, imagine
the angel,
the miracle worker. Look, I think
he gets to set the fence. He's got like 6 players in front of him. He's just like, stop. I'm going for it, guys.
I mean, you know what? That's the irrational confidence we need when we're down 1-0 against Saudi Arabia in the quarterfinals or whatever. But look, this is my big thing. So we all know that you take 3 goalkeepers to a World Cup, right? Now, let's be honest. The third keeper is only there purely for vibes, all right? There's no chance. Even, look, Matt Ryan's going to wear a face mask. He's probably going to go. Then it's going to be who's in that second position. I doubt they can convince Mitchell Angarak to come back. So, you know, it's going to be probably maybe Gauchi, maybe Redmayne, although Redmayne is not in good form at the moment, especially when he's playing as a midfielder in that 2-7-2 formation that he keeps playing in. There's Lawrence Thomas at Wanderers is one. Alex Paulson, if we can convince him to change nationality soon. But here's what I reckon. We're thinking 2 small potatoes. So I reckon either we take, you know, everyone says like Ryan Scott's one of the best personalities in the A. Like, do we take Ryan Scott as that third choice keeper for the vibes? Although maybe Ryan Scott doesn't have, you know, the kind of reputation within the Socceroos. So do we go a little bit more outside the box? Do we take someone who is respected, loved, and has the experience in these moments? Do we take Bozza as the third choice keeper? All right. So you take Boz. Look, and I've worked with Boz. All right. But Boz is an expert in goalkeeping, really good in terms of explaining, you know, what you need to do in every situation. So he'd be great at helping the other goalkeepers. He's so much fun to be around. He tells a million stories. He's got these amazing stories about all the times, you know, he was in England and Aston Villa and Man United and everything. You know, a story time with Boz every night would be amazing, right? And then what are you wasting? A third choice keeper spot? Not to mention, imagine the publicity. Australia brings Mark Bosnich out of retirement. Hey, how good would that be? Everyone would be obsessed with our campaign. You know, it'd make all the front pages. Boz can do every media appearance as well. The guy is an amazing talker. So that solves everything. But then I thought to myself, am I restricting my thinking too little again? Have I not thought even further outside the box?
Back from the dead.
Yeah. No. He's still very much alive.
Okay.
A former Socceroo who never actually officially retired from the Socceroos, but would be a massive help to our campaign. Is this ringing any bells? We talk about him a lot on this show.
It's not Usain Bolt.
It's Ange Postecoglou. Why don't look, Ange, everything he turns to gold, right? We miss him in the Socceroos. Why don't we use the third keeper spot? Call up Ange Postecoglou. He previously played as a defender for the Socceroos. That's all right. You know, it doesn't change your position later in your career is fine. He doesn't have to do anything in terms of actually playing. It's the third goalkeeper spot. But what he can do is he can do the tactics. He can do the enjoy your lunch rev up speeches. You know, Arnie can just, you know, talk about Aussie DNA and do that as well. But let's play to our strengths here, people. Let's get Ange in, and then suddenly the Ange bandwagon. Now Tottenham are not going to like it. Let's be honest.
No, they won't.
But you know what? When your nation calls you, you have to answer the call. And this is why I think if I'm Graham Arnold, I play 4D chess and I call up Ange Postecoglou for the third goalkeeper spot. That's my Asian Cup hot take.
I love it. I think Boz is the more realistic choice because not only is he well, he's a very important part of the stand setup, Nick Stoll, but he's more readily available than Ange Postecoglou to take the call and sit on the bench with the boys for a few laughs. But also, I think the vibe around Bozza, unbelievable. I mean, that's just a different story.
And one thing I say about the stand setup is Champions League isn't back until February, mid-February. Right? So I think we're okay with the Asian Cup. There's a nice little window there. So I'm just putting it out there. Look, Matt Ryan, number one, even with the face mask. Lawrence Thomas, Joe Gauci, however you want to do it. Mitch Langrak, if he wants to come back, that's a good second option. Those two do really well. And then Mark Bozza Bosnich, one of the all-time greats. Divino, come on, you're a content king. Tell me you're not loving this idea.
Mate, it's hitting the spot. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you've sold me on this, mate. I think Bozza, and considering why are we just, is there a way we can get Foz there as well? Like, just get the two of them in there. Like, is there a way? Because like it feels like you can't take one and not take the other. It feels like it's a package deal. You know what I mean? Like
they're combined now.
Can Foz be a standby player, but then just doesn't leave?
Yeah, you have the train-on squad, right? You know, you get the young players in. You know, maybe you know, for example, if Iran Kunda doesn't get called up, maybe they still bring him along because they're like, look, you're going to be the future of this team, and you train. You know, I remember I think Mas Luongo did it 2014 World Cup, and then obviously was our best player at the 2015 Asian Cup. So it's a good idea to do it, but we've always used it on young players. We've never thought, can we do it on old players? You know, and even we talked to it. We didn't really talk about it, but Melbourne Victory this week, they had Lee Broxham come on in like the 90th minute. Lee Broxham, this kind of old head of the team. The fans loved it when he came on, this legend. He's been around the club since day one. Why don't we do it with Foz? All right. Put him as like, you know, the 8th midfielder or whatever. And then when we're winning games, just bring on a 51-year-old guy with knee problems.
Essentially, is essentially Boz and Foz the Adonis Haslam of the Socceroos then?
Yes.
Like they're just going to be old, but they're just for vibes. If there's a fight with the other team, they'll be the first person up, and you know, like great vibes.
100%. And Foz can break down any team. So he can be on opposition analysis as well. That's going to be super helpful. Good leadership in the thing. The PFA will like it because Foz is like a life member or some president or whatever. Edmund says in the comments, Mark Swartz is in better shape than Bozza now. Come on. If it's not about being in better shape, we're not expecting them to play. All right. That is not what. Okay. Someone tell me when was the last time an Australian third keeper played at any tournament that we've played at? The third keeper.
Andrew Redmayne was technically the third keeper in that game.
Oh, that's a very good point. And you know what? He played a very important part to the Socceroos setup.
That was qualifiers. That was qualifiers. Okay, when I say third keeper, when have we gone through three keepers? Because who was the other one? Danny Vukovic, whatever. So we didn't even use him. So I'm just like, you never use three. Pick your two. That they're the ones that are going to play. They're the ones that need to be in shape. Edmund says, bring back Aussie Gus on the bench. That's classic vibe. Yeah, okay, all right. So, look, I'm just saying, let's not waste a third keeper spot on just like who was. Here's a quiz question: who was the third keeper at the 2006 World Cup? We all know Mark Schwarzer was number one, Zelko Kalac was number two. Oh, he's done it! I didn't think you were going to get that, but yes, it was Ante Kovic. That is good. Who cares? Does anyone remember that? No. Why do we remember Ante Kovic? Because he pulled off one of the best ever performances in the Asian Cup.
In Saudi Arabia. That's why.
Yeah, Asian Champions League final when Wanderers beat Al Hilal, which is also funny because it's like Neymar's team now, and it's weird to think that Neymar's team has a rivalry with the Wanderers. But anyway, so look, we need to end the show because it's gone overtime, gone to 1 hour and 10. But I just wanted to leave that thought with you guys and with the population out there. Give us your Asian Cup hot takes. Let us know, via social media, what's the most obscure kit you own? What would you like for a present for Christmas in terms of Australian football? Asian Cup hot takes, MAFFS team of the season. Who should be in there? What else? What else do we need to?
We get Makash in the Socceroos team. Does anyone else have another answer? Does anyone know someone who knows someone who knows someone that can help him out?
Does anyone know how many penalties were saved in one season? So many questions, but also you got to admit so many answers when you listen to this show, guys. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. I don't think we're going to be here next week because obviously it's Christmas, and not sure about New Year's Day. So look, just keep an eye out on the socials. We'll try and work out when, but basically once this little Christmas New Year's break, we'll be back in session Monday nights. We'll be giving you great ideas. We'll be coming up with amazing things, and it'll be fun for everyone, especially you guys in the comments. That's the best thing about the show. So Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Nick. Have a good Christmas, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Tabano, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good Christmas, and
And we'll see you when we see you, as long as I remember to play the outro music. Bye-bye.